Hey, and welcome to another episode of Motors and Meats. This weekend, I am at Barber Motorsports Park for an HPDE, High Performance Driver Education. Basically, that means I get to drive my car on their track at speed with an instructor in the car and some classroom sessions in between. This is going to be exciting. I've just arrived in Birmingham, and there's still about an hour before I can actually go in and have my final tech inspection done. I've already signed in, registered everything, but I thought we would take some time here just to go over some of the prep work that goes into getting ready for one of these track events. So once you've decided that you're going to go do a track event, the first thing you need to do is register for the event. For this event, the PCA is putting it on, and they use clubregistration.net as their registration form. You go on, you set up an account with them, give all of the information about how many track days, if any, that you've done, what kind of car you have, and the account is created at that point, nothing to it. And you use that account to sign up for the event. Now, once you've signed up, it gets a lot easier from there. They send you all the information that you need, including a tech inspection form. The tech form has got to be filled out by a third-party qualified technician. And a lot of the things on there include making sure that you don't have any drips under your car, there's nothing leaking, that you have the same kind of seat belts or harnesses on both the passenger and the driver's side. If you have a roll bar, do you have the right kind of restraint? It also goes into, do you have the correct helmet? It has to be a pretty current helmet. It can't be one that your granddad gave you whenever you were 12 if you're now 45. That won't fly. Plus, it probably wouldn't fit. You have to make sure your tires are in general good condition. You have to make sure that your brake fluid has been flushed recently. To check out my video on doing the brake flush, click on the pop-out banner, whichever corner of the screen that comes up into. But aside from the tech inspection form, some other things that you want to consider doing whenever you're getting ready for a track is doing some research. What track are you going to? Look up on YouTube some track instructional videos. And the way I like to do it is I like to find a type of car going around the track that's similar to mine. Since I'm driving a Porsche 911, that's pretty easy to do. There's lots of Porsches that go out on tracks. And since I'm at Barber Motorsports Park, that's one of the most beautiful and fun parks, according to everyone that I'm reading and listening to on YouTube, in America. So there was lots and lots of resources available for this one. My favorite videos I will put a link to down in the description, and one of them is a driver in a Cayman GTS 2015 model, barely more horsepower than my 996, and I think that the driving experience should be pretty similar. And it's a race coach who is talking you through the track as he's going around. Great video for learning the track. Another thing I like to do once I've spent enough time having that sort of instruction on a video is to just watch some raw footage, and there is so much of that online because everybody that does this puts a GoPro in their car and they'll upload raw footage that shows the gauges going, how fast they're going, how much throttle they're putting down. So once you kind of understand how you're supposed to take the corners through instruction, just watching it happen over and over again will help you to memorize where the corners are. None of this is necessary. I just think it's a good idea if you want to do your best on the track day. And lastly, we need to think about things to bring that are not necessarily your car. You probably will want to have a chair to sit in. You'll want to have a cooler with some drinks in it, some water, some Gatorade, some snacks. You want to make sure that your shoes have a flat bottom. I have a really cool pair of race driving shoes made by Pelote, and they do the job. So another thing you need to think of is what kind of attire, what kind of clothes to bring. For this event, it has to be natural fiber, and it just said to consider the weather conditions. This weekend, it's going to be between the 50s and the 70s, so I've brought jeans, a t-shirt, and a cotton pullover. just something to keep me warm, because the windows do have to be down when you're going. The helmet's going to be on, so my head will be nice and warm, but the rest of me would be freezing to death if it's early in the morning and it's 55 degrees outside with 120 mile an hour wind blowing in the window. If you have one of those pop-up tents, it might be a good idea to bring that, especially if you know it's going to be full sun for the forecast. I think it's supposed to be full overcast for this weekend, so I didn't bring any kind of tent. Not too worried about it. You'll also want to make sure that you have the basic tools you need to do any kind of basic maintenance on the car. You'll need to make sure that you have spare fluids in case you burn through your oil somehow or have a coolant leak. Now, if you're just going for an open track day or one of the driver experience things that's only a few hours, you probably just need to show up, and that's all it is. But in this case, it's 2 days. All told, I should be on the track in my car for 4 hours of driving as hard as I possibly can. So that makes me think I need to be prepared a little bit better than just showing up. And one last thing to think about, the boring stuff, the paperwork side of things, you have to make sure that you do exactly what they say. In this case, we had to have the tech inspection form filled out within 4 weeks of the date of the event. So, you know, we couldn't have a tech form filled out 6 months ago. That would not fly. Also, you want to make sure you have track insurance. It's cheap, and that covers whatever agreed value you come up with the insurance company, and it covers your car, it covers damage to others, it covers damage to the track, because you'll see whenever you're signing your life away on the registration forms that you are the one who's responsible if your car causes damage to the track. So we want the insurance company to cover that and not my wallet. So enough with the talk of prep and getting ready, because we are here. We are actually here, and this is happening, and I am excited. Can you tell? You can't tell, can you? You can tell. Saturday morning, and I'm headed back over to Barber. Last night was probably more anxiety for me than the whole weekend of taking my car on the track, just because it got dark before we were able to go into the paddock and find a spot and go through the final tech inspection. It was stressful. I'd never been to that part of Barber before. I'd always ever just been to the museum side of it. But it's a massive complex. Everybody else seemed to know what they were doing, so I just tried to follow along, and only made a wrong turn 3 times. But yeah, so one thing I could recommend if you're going to do this for the first time is try to do it where it all happens during daylight. That would be good if that's your first time, or go with somebody that knows what they're doing. I did meet here at Barber Motorsports Park. I've had 3 sessions so far, and I've got 1 more session coming up, and then get to go and sleep, because I didn't sleep last night. Last night was so much anticipation for this, but today was exhausting, so I'm gonna sleep hard tonight. Day 2 on the track, and we have had some rain during the night, and it's got a wet forecast today, so that should make things a bit more interesting today, don't you think? Now, let me just talk about driving in the rain on a racetrack. Holy cow, that was fun. I once had an opportunity to drive on the tail of the Dragon in the wet, and that was a lot of fun too. This is a whole other level though, just because, you know, there's no limits except for what you are capable of and what your car is capable of. And your job is to find that limit and push right up to it, and that was just amazing to be able to do that. I found the limit. Take a look right here. Sorry. Dadgummit.
Well, you found out how much grip the tires have now.
Yeah. But, you know, we were only going like 45 miles an hour around that sharp curve. My friend Sam and his GT3 was far enough behind me that that he wasn't, you know, in any danger of running into me. I didn't even go off the track, so it wasn't that big a deal. And my instructor and I just laughed about it, and we kept on going. My instructor, Greg, was a fantastic person to be working with. He had years and years of experience doing this, and has experience in lots of different car types, lots of different tracks all over the country, and was just an invaluable source of knowledge. Our first session out, where I was driving and he was in the passenger seat, was probably the most driver's education I've received since I was 14 years old in junior high school. And there are so many things about this car, about any car, that you just don't know what is capable until you're in a situation like that. I could not be more grateful for his instruction this weekend. The PCA put on a fantastic event. Everyone was nice, courteous. The facilities at the Barber Motorsports Park are absolutely top-notch. So if that's something that you're considering doing, don't think about it anymore. Just click the buttons, register, do it. And let's see, this is Michael's Motors and Meats after all. I had a brisket sandwich from Buc-ee's because it's right across the street. So what would a trip to Buc-ee's be without a barbecue sandwich anyway? So there we go, we covered the meat portion. For more meat related info, check out my Instagram. Always lots and lots of pictures and videos of things I'm cooking on there. And you know what, the stickers on the side of the car, it's Motors and Meats 88. Find me there. Thanks again for watching. You guys are awesome. I had a great time, and I'll see you on the next one.